Hello everyone, here we are again for a new video outside in the beautiful sunshine. So today I want to talk about some comments I had under my TikTok videos, and just to elaborate on those comments a little bit. Okay, so under my inflation videos and what you should do during inflation, I talk about that you should be in commodities. If you invest into stocks, if you invest into equities, you should not be in tech, as tech is negatively affected by inflation. You should be in commodities, in the number one commodity named oil. And I got a lot of the same comments, and one of them was that inflation is just transitory. All right, so inflation is not transitory. And I talked about this before the reports for May came out. I talked about this before the reports for April came out. I said that inflation is going to be higher in April, which came true. Before the reports in May came out, I said inflation in May is going to be higher than in April, which also turned out to be true. And people still comment under my comment section, oh, it's just transitory, blah, 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 blah. And for example, after the reports for May came out, they said, oh, look, it went down. If you have an object that costs $100 and in 1 month it increases 20% to $120, and the month after it increases only $5, that's not less inflation. The price of that object is still 25% more. We don't have deflation. It's just going to increase. It's increasing less, but it's not going to reverse for a long time, as the money printing is not stopping. And one more thing people don't understand about CPI, Consumer Price Index, went up unexpectedly high. And the Consumer Price Index does not take into account the things that inflated, like assets and real estate. Those are not included in Consumer Price Index. And once you print money and inflation moves through the supply chain, it affects basic materials first, which we saw in commodity prices and basic material prices over the last few months. And at the end of that chain, at the end of that river, you will see consumer prices increase as those basic material prices increase the cost on production. So the increase we see right now in consumer prices is the rain before a freaking tornado. That's nothing yet. If we would calculate inflation as we calculated it back in the 70s, inflation right now, year to date, would be approximately about 15%. So inflation you can't measure in real time. You can only measure inflation after the fact, in hindsight. But given the current trend, month to month inflation, by the end of the year, and I said this multiple times, I said we're gonna have double-digit inflation. People laughed at me. We're gonna have 6 to 10% inflation, minimum by the end of 2021. Will prices stabilize at some point? And of course, right? Once prices are up across the board and wages catch up as well, which takes about 2 years after the money printing started, sure, prices will stabilize. And if that's what you mean by transitory, then yeah, then sure. But in the meantime, let's not ignore the freaking elephant in the room. What surprises me too is that people commented that 1/3 of the inflation, or the biggest part of the inflation, is because of used cars not being sold. And I'm just like, are you serious? Like, let's just ignore the elephant in the room. Let's just ignore that we printed $9 trillion in 2020. That's almost 10 times as much as we printed in the 2008 housing collapse, in the housing crisis. You know, if you suddenly start sweating and it gets hot in your room because your kitchen is on fire, you don't blame the heater that you left on. You're like, oh yeah, I left the heater on, that's why it's so hot. No, your freaking kitchen is on fire. It's not used car sales and limited supply and increase in demand that caused this stuff. It's the velocity of money that has been low and the money printing that has been extremely high. That combination caused asset prices and real estate prices to go up like crazy. But now with the economy opening, and I said this months ago, you will see the inflation hitting CPI and consumer prices as people start spending outside again and get jobs and all that. And I understand you believe the Fed. You believe that the Fed is a separate entity to the government. They're totally not the government. The Fed is the government. Their website ends in .gov. And everything Jerome Powell says, he's not a bad guy. Everything they say is a lie on purpose. They have to lie to you. Of course they have to. What do you expect? You would do the exact same thing if you were Jerome Powell. Imagine he would go in public and say, buy everything, inflation is gonna be terrible, buy as much as you can. That will cause the panic that they try not to happen. That's why they have to lie to you, and you eat it, and you come to my comment section and comment me this stupid things. And all I want you is to understand the message in my videos, which is not a debate about inflation. There's no debate. We have inflation, okay? But your favorite tech stocks, I know you love them, you hold on to them, but tech suffers from inflation. And that has many reasons, which I talk about on my blog and my TikTok videos. I'm not going to talk about that now. But during high inflation, you don't want to hold tech. You want to be in commodities. You want to have hedges against inflation. For example, real estate with a fixed mortgage rate that is lower than the inflation rate, which is free money. Because inflation positively affects the debtor, the person who takes debt. That's why the rich get richer and the poor get poorer, because the rich own things. And during inflation, those things get higher in price, increase in value. So you want to do the same. And you're not doing a good service to you by holding on to your tech stocks during times of high inflation. You want to be in commodities, oil, gas, basic materials, industrials. And people think I hate tech or something for some reason. No, I don't. It's just the business cycle is a cycle. And we moved out of the expansion phase. We're going into a boom phase. And in the boom phase, you want to be in commodities. The only reason for me to be in tech at the moment is if interest rates go negative, then I would put all my money in tech, because that will positively affect tech, as those companies sit on a lot of cash. Or once the market crashed and we are in a recovery, in an early recovery again, then I would also rotate out, or would be rotated out of commodities long time by then, and put all my money into the tech sector. So I don't hate tech. I'm just trying to tell you, hey, this is what's going on. This is the economy, and I want you to understand the economics and the reasons why specific sectors perform better than others. Those have macroeconomic reasons. And my entire channel is just about teaching you exactly that. So I hope that helps a little bit. If you like my videos, if you like my content, leave a like, follow me, follow my blog, and watch my other videos and learn more. All right, everyone. Thank you very much. See you next time.